speaker is Zen Honeycutt. She is the founder and director of Moms Across America, which is a national coalition of unstoppable moms.
Because the love for our families will never end. Yes. We will never give up. We will never stop. We are standing for the health and freedom in America. Thank you.
They are committed to empowering millions to educate themselves about GMOs, get them labeled, and offer GMO-free and organic solutions.
Thank you so much, everyone. Here we are at the March Against Monsanto. Give yourselves a round of applause. How many people felt alone in their struggle with food or didn't know about GMOs just a year ago? Yeah, a lot of us, right? So you're not alone now. There are millions of us that have discovered the truth about our food. This march is powerful because we're all coming together all around the world. Millions of us today. And it's empowering to be one of thousands or hundreds in the same place that all know the truth and that are all sharing the truth. And I'm going to speak with you today about the truth about our food and what we can do about it. Now, most of us in this room know that our food is contaminated. Most of us in this room know that our food supply is being controlled by a monopoly. Many of us know that we are being slowly poisoned if we're not eating organic food. And we all know that we are getting sick and our children are getting sicker as a nation. 80% of the food in our market is GMO. This is a graph of glyphosate and the rise of autism. So the doctors have said recently that their offices were flooded with autism patients in the late 1990s. Well, what happened in the late 1990s was that GMOs and glyphosate were introduced into our food supply without our knowledge. Glyphosate breaks down the blood-brain barrier and allows environmental toxins in. Is there a coincidence? Is there a connection? We think so. Scientists Anthony Samsel and Stephanie Seneff published this study recently, a peer-reviewed paper which pulls together many accepted studies and points to a clear connection between glyphosate and many Western diseases: autism, autoimmune disorders, asthma, COPD, diabetes, obesity, depression, bipolar, Parkinson's, IBS, and Alzheimer's. This method of farming designed to make the food crops resilient to chemicals. Chemical farming is solely for the purpose of increasing the sales of Roundup and other pesticides and herbicides. So not only do we have the tremendous concern of GMOs, which have been shown to cause organ damage and mutations on their own without pesticides or herbicides, we also have this huge threat to our health from this slow and insidious poison. Now, we all can see, right? The future is for all of us is one of illness and sadness and struggle for, if not us, some loved ones, some friends, if we don't act now. We really are at a tipping point. We're all here and we're all together because we want to act now. Now, how are we going to do that? There's a lot of different actions we could take, but taking actions based on fear or struggle or survival is not going to be sustainable. I want to address this because our concern is that we are effective and that we are all healthy while we are doing this, okay? Where we need to come from in this movement is not struggle and strife. We need to be activists, not reactivists. If we are constantly reacting to what we think is bad, we will be struggling, stressed, and sick. And we need us all to be well. So here's the thing. We need to get that there is something called just what's so. It's just what is. It's not like resignation, but it's not like wrong or bad. For instance, rain is wet. Some people could say it's depressing, but really, rain is just wet. You get that? It's just what's so. And when we get what's so, from there we can choose freely. We can create something. Monsanto thinks it's great that there are foreign proteins and chemicals in our food. It is highly profitable for them. That's their perspective. The reality is, it's just what's so. There are foreign proteins and chemicals in 80% of our food. They just are. And guess what? It might not be whether or not it's bad or wrong. It just is. But what's true is that it doesn't work for human beings and living things. It just does not work coming from our commitment of health and freedom. Monsanto's commitment is profit. It works for them. Can you see that? It doesn't work for our commitment for health and freedom. So when we stop resisting, we start creating, we win. When we stop fighting and we start sharing, we win. When we stop being angry and depressed and defeated, when we go outside and connect with our neighbors and take a stand, we win. Together, with creativity, we can accomplish what seems impossible. Where we win is when we are each the one standing up for health and freedom in a group of thousands who don't know what we're talking about, who don't know about GMOs. You see that? This is what it's going to take for each one of us to be willing to be the one to let thousands know about GMOs. Imagine you're the one in a room of thousands. You have an opportunity to speak, to pass out flyers, to hold up a sign. That's what it's going to take to get the word out. Connecting with thousands, speaking to thousands. And we can do that. Yes, even you can do that. But it may not look like you in a room with thousands. Who goes to church? How many people in your church? How many people at your kids' school? How many people in your women's club? How many employees at your grocery store? How many people, that you drive by? How many? You can see, if you look, you can see that you already have thousands of people before you that are waiting, just waiting to be given the solution to their sadness and struggle. And I say this because 1 out of 2 men now are expected to get cancer. 1 out of 3 women are expected to get cancer in America. 1 out of 2 of our children, as I said before, have chronic diseases. So you can pretty much assume that the person in front of you loves somebody that is not well right now, or is not going to be well soon. Okay? If we shift our perspective from, oh, they don't want to know about GMOs, to everybody wants to know about GMOs, can you see that would be a different kind of conversation you would have? So there you are. It's that moment to take a stand for health and freedom. You know the moment. You're at the checkout counter, and in your head you wonder, I wonder if this cashier even knows about GMOs. Or you're at the dry cleaners, and the guy's drinking a Coke, and what goes to your mind? I wonder if he knows about GMOs. Or you're at church, and your pastor talks about service and generosity, and you wonder, have I been of service and generous to let people know about GMOs? And you wonder, would the pastor like to show us screening? Now, you may speak up, and many of you do, and say something in that moment, and many of us don't. And again, that's not wrong. It's just an action or an inaction, right? But all there is to see is that there is an opportunity in that moment to be the one in front of one of the thousands, right, that don't know about GMOs. Transform their life. Give them the ticket to health and freedom. We have that opportunity before us. Next week is World Food Day, October 16th. The March Against Monsanto is about all coming together. This is awesome, it's inspiring, and it's necessary to be effective in our message and power. Next week, in the Moms Across America World Food Day Community Outreach, is when we all spread out into our communities. We disperse, we divide and conquer with love and sharing. And right now, we have sent out boxes to 160 groups all across the country. These were the leaders that led in the parades. And they have moms' testimonial flyers. They have flyers where their kids got better when they got off GMOs. Flyers about the state of America's schools and what we can do about it. 31 million GMO meals are served a day, by the way, to our kids. Flyers from Friends of the Earth addressing the most immediate looming GMO contamination, which is GMO apples, coming up in December. So we have buttons, stickers, flyers, and car decals, and these are all because of our sponsors. I want to mention them. NYR Organic, Nutopia, Mercola, Organic Consumer Association, Baker Creek Heirloom Seeds, Rincon Vitova, which have natural pests that just eat other pests. They're predator pests. They're very cool. And Friends of the Earth. And now if you didn't get one of these boxes, sign up for one of these boxes and get one, that's okay, you know about it now. You can go to Moms Across America, sign up, and the next time we do a mailing, if you host an event, you'll get a box, okay? So, and what you can also do is go to Moms Across America, click on products, and download the PDF, and you can go print those flyers next week on your own. So, you have the information to transform your community from one that is blind to the toxins, unaware of the foreign proteins, and asleep to the corruption in our food system. It's time for us to wake them up. We are the awakeners. You are the awakeners because you know about this. Now, in that moment of taking a stand for another human life, your chest may tighten, you may want to look down, or the voice in your head may just say, oh, they're too busy, or I'm too tired, right? Or mind your own business, right? You may suddenly feel weird. And that's where the rubber hits the road. That's the moment which transforms a life. And it's an act of triumph of the human spirit. Because that's the moment where Monsanto hopes that you are too tired to stand up. That's the moment that Monsanto hopes that you are too busy to say, have you heard about GMOs? I have this great flyer that might support you and your family's health. Because the love for our families will never end. Yes. We will never give up. We will never stop. We are standing for the health and freedom in America. Thank you.
Moms Across America took leadership in 172 parades in 44 states this past July 4th, reaching 1.5 million people directly at parades and tens of millions more through CNN, Fox News, and 120 news media outlets that picked up the story. Most of those media outlets were financial outlets, and Monsanto stock happened to just drop 5% on July 4th.